The sun was just rising over the desert in New Mexico. When Laura arrived at the Deep Space Monitoring Station, she had a cup of coffee in one hand and her bag in the other. Her partner Ethan was already inside, looking at a screen with a confused expression. "Morning," Laura said, placing her coffee on the table. "You need to see this," Ethan replied. "Something strange came in last night." Laura sat down beside him and looked at the screen. It showed a repeating signal, a low and steady pulse. The pattern did not match any known satellite or natural space object. "Where is it coming from?" she asked. "It came from deep space." But then, it bounced back. "The coordinates are right here, in our desert." "Just outside the old canyon road," Ethan said. They both looked at the map. A red dot blinked in a dry, remote area. There were no towns or stations nearby. Later that day, a military and science team was sent to the location. Laura and Ethan went with them. They drove 4 hours under the hot sun, past old rocks and empty land. When they reached the coordinates, everyone stopped. There was something buried in the sand. It looked like a large, smooth metal object. Symbols that no one had ever seen before glowed faintly on its surface. "Is it a ship?" someone whispered. "Looks like it," Laura said. Suddenly, the ground shook. The buried object began to hum. Light poured from the cracks. The sand around it moved as the structure slowly opened. The team backed away, weapons ready but hands shaking. From the opening, a tall figure stepped out. She had glowing blue eyes and wore silver armor that looked both old and new. Her skin was pale, almost shining in the sunlight. She looked human, but not quite. The soldiers pointed their weapons. Laura stepped forward slowly. "Who are you?" she asked. The figure looked around. Her voice was calm and clear. "I am Kylara. I have returned to Earth." The team was silent. Laura could feel her heart beating faster. Kylara looked up at the sky. "Much time has passed. The stars have changed, but I found my way back." Ethan leaned over and whispered to Laura. "Did she say returned?" Laura nodded. "She's been here before." Kylara took a step forward. The team didn't shoot. There was something about her presence that made them pause. She did not seem afraid. She looked at each person with purpose. "I speak your language. Long ago, our people visited this world. I have come back for a reason. A danger is coming. A choice must be made." They brought her to a secure base for study and questioning. The scientists and military officers tried to understand who she was. Kylara answered their questions, but kept many secrets. She said she needed to find a human, someone special, someone who could help stop what was coming. In the middle of the night, Laura could not sleep. She went to the observation room where Kylara was being held. The alien princess was standing near the window, looking up at the stars. "Do you miss your home?" Laura asked. "My home is gone," Kylara replied. "Your world still has hope. That is why I returned." Laura didn't know what to say. Kylara turned to her. "A new chapter is starting, but Earth must be ready. The human I seek holds the key." Outside the window, the stars blinked quietly in the night. Laura stood beside Kylara, watching the sky, both feeling the weight of what was coming. Kylara sat in a quiet room deep inside the base. Her armor was gone now, replaced with a plain suit given by the humans. Still, she stood tall, her eyes calm and strong. She watched everything with care, but she said little unless asked. Outside the room, people moved quickly. Scientists, soldiers, and leaders wanted answers. No one had ever seen anything like her. Some were afraid, others were curious. A few even hoped she could help Earth become stronger. In a meeting room nearby, Laura and Ethan joined a group of top officials. A large screen showed pictures of Kylara's ship and the glowing symbols. The room was filled with low voices and serious faces. "She says she's here to find someone," Laura said. "Someone with a special trait." "What trait?" one general asked. "She didn't say, but she's clear it has to be a human," Ethan replied. The president's voice came through a secure line. "Hush. If she offers peace and help, we will listen. But we must stay careful. No risks." At the same time, Kylara asked to see the people working at the base. She said she could feel something, a signal from the one she was looking for. The request was strange, but the commanders agreed. They brought in everyone one by one. When it was Kyle's turn, he walked into the room without much thought. He was young, only 22, and worked on computer systems. He had short brown hair and a kind face. He had not seen Kylara up close until now. As soon as Kyle stepped in, Kylara stood very still, her eyes focused on him. Kyle felt something strange, like a soft light in his mind. He blinked and took a step back. "Are you okay?" he asked, feeling nervous. Kylara smiled, just a little. "You were the one." The guards looked at each other. Kyle looked confused. "What do you mean?" asked. "You carry the spark," Kylara said. "A mark from long ago. A link between our worlds." Later, in a private room, Kylara explained everything. Long ago, her people came to Earth in secret. They formed a quiet alliance with some humans. One family line was chosen to hold a special gift. That gift stayed hidden for many years. Now, it had returned in Kyle. Kyle sat on a bench, trying to understand. "Why me? I'm just a tech guy. I've never done anything important." "Your heart and your mind are ready," Kylara said. "You were born for this." Kyle looked at Laura and Ethan, who stood nearby. They didn't have answers either, but they believed Kylara. The days that followed, Kyle and Kylara began training together. She taught him how to control his thoughts, to sense energy, and to feel the presence of others. Kyle struggled at first, but he didn't give up. Each night, he dreamed of stars, strange places, and battles he had never seen before. When he told Kylara, she said those were memories locked deep in his blood. Meanwhile, Earth's satellites picked up a large object entering the solar system. It was not natural. It moved with purpose. Experts said it would reach Earth in less than 2 weeks. Kylara looked at the data and nodded. "They are coming. The Narlock." "Who are they?" Laura asked. "An old enemy. They want to control all life. They destroyed many worlds. Earth is next." Global leaders held emergency meetings. Some wanted to fight, others wanted to hide. But Kylara stood before them and spoke with strength. "You must stand together. You must not fear. Your future depends on what you do now." She shared blueprints of old alien technology, weapons, and shields. Scientists worked day and night to understand them. Kyle continued his training. His connection with Kylara grew stronger. He could now feel her thoughts, even from far away. She called it the bond. As the stars above grew darker, Earth prepared for the unknown. But for the first time, they were not alone. Kylara had returned, and Kyle was ready to begin his part in what was to come. Each morning, Kyle woke up before sunrise. He met Kylara in a large training room inside the base. The walls were made of metal, but the space felt peaceful. Kylara stood still, her eyes closed, while Kyle followed her breathing exercises. He tried to calm his mind, just like she taught him. "You must learn to listen," Kylara said. "Not with your ears, but with your mind." Kyle focused. He still didn't understand everything, but he trusted her. As days passed, he began to feel a quiet energy inside him. It moved through his body like light in his veins. Sometimes when he touched a machine, it worked faster. Other times he felt danger before it came. Outside the base, people around the world were talking about the coming threat. News channels showed pictures of the Narlock ship moving through space. It was huge, dark, and full of strange signals. The world had never faced anything like this. In response, leaders from many countries formed a special council. They met through video calls, sharing ideas and plans. Kylara joined their meetings. She offered them technology from her people. Shields, weapons, and ways to detect energy waves. Some leaders believed her and worked fast to prepare. Others still doubted her story. They thought it was a trick or a plan to take over Earth. But as the Narlock ship got closer, more people began to listen. In secret, a small group of humans inside the base met without permission. They believed Kylara was a threat. They thought she was using Kyle and feeding him lies. Their leader, a man named Colin, used to be a soldier. He didn't trust aliens. Told his group they had to stop Kylara before it was too late. One night they acted. Kylara walked through a hallway alone. They attacked her. She fought without weapons, moving fast and silent. But one man had a shock device, and she fell to the floor, unable to move. Before they could take her, Kyle ran in. He saw Kylara on the ground, her body still. Anger and fear filled him. Without thinking, he raised his hand. and a wave of blue light blasted from his body. The men flew back, hitting the walls hard. Kyler slowly opened her eyes. Kyle helped her up. "You are stronger now," she said. The guards came and arrested the attackers. The base leaders were shocked. They had not seen Kyle's power before, and now understood how serious this was. After the attack, Kylara spent more time in deep meditation. She told Kyle that his bond with her was growing. Through this bond, he could learn faster, feel more, and one day fight beside her. "We are two parts of the same light," she said. "Your world and mine were always meant to join." Kyle didn't know how to respond. He had never been important before. Now the fate of the planet seemed to rest on him. He didn't want to fail. At night, he stood outside the base and looked at the stars. Narlock's ship was now only days away. People across the world were building defenses with Kylara's help. Some cities had energy shields. Others had new weapons powered by alien crystals. But Kyle knew these things might not be enough. The real battle would happen in space, far from the people they were trying to protect. Kylara joined him outside. She looked up at the sky too. "They will come soon," she said. "Are we ready?" Kyle asked. "You are ready," she said, "and I will be with you." Kyle nodded. His fear was still there, but so was something else. He felt calm when she spoke. He believed in her, and she believed in him. As the stars began to fade and the first light of morning touched the desert, they stood together in silence. The future was coming fast, but they would face it side by side. The sky over Earth turned dark as the Narlock fleet entered the planet's orbit. People in every country looked up and saw strange shapes floating in the sky. The Narlock ships were black and silent, with long, sharp edges that looked like wings. No one could tell how many there were. It felt like a shadow had fallen over the world. In the main base, alarms rang. Leaders gave orders. Soldiers prepared their weapons. Scientists activated the shields built using Kylara's designs. Across the globe, cities powered up energy domes, hiding people inside. Kylara and Kyle stood in the command center watching the screen. Narlock were not attacking yet. They were waiting. "They are testing your fear," Kylara said. "They want you to break before they strike." Kyle's hands were shaking. He took a deep breath and looked at Kylara. "Then let's show them we are not afraid." A plan was made. Earth would not wait for the Narlock to strike first. Kylara led a small team to take the fight to them. Kyle was with her. He had trained long and hard. Now it was time to use what he had learned. Their ship was a mix of Earth and alien technology. Fast, light, and strong. As it rose into the sky, people on the ground watched and hoped. They knew this mission could decide everything. Inside the ship, Kylara guided the path. Kyle sat beside her, hands on the controls. They flew toward the Narlock command ship, a giant beast of metal in the sky. Smaller ships circled it like dark birds. When they got close, the Narlock opened fire. Bright blasts lit up space. Kyle dodged and turned the ship, using reflexes he didn't know he had. Kylara aimed and returned fire, using strange weapons that glowed blue. Other Earth ships joined the fight. Human pilots, working together with Kylara's team, attacked the smaller Narlock ships. The sky became a storm of light and fire. Kylara and Kyle reached the command ship. They entered through a weak point Kylara had found. The inside was cold and dark. The walls were smooth like glass, and there was no sound. "Stay close," Kylara said. They moved through halls lit by a pale red light. Strange shapes floated in the air. Kyle felt something pressing on his mind. It was the Narlock. They were trying to scare him with visions and voices. "You are nothing," a deep voice said in his head. "You will fail." But Kyle remembered Kylara's training. He focused and pushed the voice away. The bond between him and Kylara gave him strength. They reached the control room. At the center stood the Narlock leader. It was tall, with long arms and black skin that looked like stone. Its eyes glowed red. "Leave this world," Kylara said. "It is ours," the Narlock leader replied. "You are too late." The fight began. Kylara moved fast, her energy blade glowing. Kyle used his power to push and shield her. The Narlock leader was strong, but Kyle and Kylara worked as one. During the battle, Kyle was thrown back. He hit the ground hard and felt pain shoot through his arm. Kylara stepped in front of him, taking a blow meant for him. She fell, her armor cracked. Kyle crawled to her side. She was still breathing but weak. "You must finish this," she whispered. Kyle stood up. His whole body was shaking, but his eyes were clear. He raised his hand, and the light inside him grew bright. It lit the whole room. The Narlock leader charged, but Kyle sent out a blast of energy. It hit the Narlock and threw it across the room. Machines sparked and broke. Kyle walked forward and used his mind to unlock a system Kylara had shown him. He found an old code hidden deep in Earth's core. It was part of the ancient technology left by Kylara's people. Kyle used it to send a signal that shut down the Narlock fleet. All across the sky, the Narlock ships went dark. One by one, they fell or floated away. Kylara opened her eyes. "You did it."
Ow.
Held her hand. Outside, Earth's sky began to clear. People stepped out from shelters and looked up. The invasion was over. The world had won. Not with fear, but with courage, trust, and the light of something new. The sun rose over a quiet world. People walked out of shelters, looked at the sky, and saw no danger. The Narlock ships were gone. The air felt calm for the first time in many days.
Families held each other.
Strangers shook hands. A new day had started.
At the base.
Kyle sat beside Kylara, who rested in a recovery room. Her armor had been removed, and her wounds were healing slowly. Doctors from Earth and Kylara's people worked together to help her. Kyle had not left her side since they returned. She opened her eyes and looked at him. "It is done." Kyle smiled. "Yes, we stopped them. Earth is safe now." She nodded. "Because of you," he shook his head. "Because of us." News spread fast. People across the world learned what had happened. Kyle became a hero. But he didn't want fame. He just wanted peace. He met with world leaders and told them the truth. Kylara's people were not here to rule. They came to protect and share knowledge. After long talks, Earth agreed to join Kylara's alliance. It was called the Unity Accord. Many nations signed it. Others watched and waited. For the first time, Earth had a seat in a galactic council. A few weeks later, a new ship rose into the sky. It was built by Earth and Kylara's people together. It had human metal and alien light. Its name was Horizon 1. Kyle was chosen to be the first human ambassador. Before he left, Kyle stood in the desert where it all began. The wind moved across the sand. Kylara walked beside him. She was stronger now, her eyes bright again. "You could stay," Kyle said. "You've done enough." She looked at him. "My place is here now. I came back for a reason. Earth is part of my past, and now it is part of my future." They stood in silence for a while. "Are you ready to leave?" she asked. Kyle looked up at the stars. "Yes, but I will come back." He hugged her and she smiled. Then he walked toward the ship. The engines glowed, and the ship lifted off the ground. People around the world watched it rise. It was a symbol of something new, a step forward. Kylara stayed on Earth. She worked with leaders and helped rebuild what was lost. She opened schools to teach both science and peace. People listened to her because she spoke with truth and care. Time passed. The world changed. Cities were rebuilt with new energy. People traveled to the moon and beyond. The fear of the Narlock became a memory. But the courage that stopped them was never forgotten. One day, Kylara stood on a hill near the base. Children ran around laughing. She looked up at the sky and saw a small ship returning. It was Horizon 1. Kyle stepped out, older and wiser. He had seen many worlds, met many people, and learned many things. But Earth was still his home. He walked to Kylara and smiled. "I kept my promise." She nodded. "And you brought hope back with you." They stood together watching the sun set over the land. Two friends, one from Earth and one from the stars. The bond between them had saved the world. And now it would help build a future full of light. The alien princess had returned. But this time, she was not alone. Humanity had risen beside her, not as followers, but as equals. And together, they looked toward the stars, ready for the next chapter.